Hello and welcome to Pokemon Lair. My name is TD and today we'll be unboxing a box of 10 Pokemon cards that I did to PSA, or Professional Exposure Authority, over a year ago, and I got them back in this nice little box, perfectly packaged for safety and security. And let me get them out of here and let's see what grades we got. We're looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Krabby, a first edition number 51 card. The front surface graphics on this card are nice and clean. There's no staining or damage. Our centering looks really good. And our corners or edges, I see no damage. We're going to take a look at the back of the card, and as you can see, the surface graphics are nice and clean. I don't see any damage. Our centering looks pretty good. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think there's some slight damage to the lower right and maybe upper right corner. And that's going to give us a grade of near mint 8. Not too bad, not the greatest. I'm looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Omanyte, or Omanyte, first edition number 52 card. I could never figure out how to pronounce that. Our surface looks nice and clean. Our corners and our edges look clean, and our centering doesn't look too bad. Looking at the back of the card, it looks just as clean as the front, especially the graphics. Looking at our centering, I think it's pretty good. Once we get to our corners and our edges, we do have some slight damage on the upper right corner, and I think the lower left corner. And that's going to give us a grade of mint 9. Not too bad. And if anybody can tell me how to pronounce that, put it in the comments. Awesome. Let's look at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Psyduck, a first edition number 53 card. Looking at this card, you can see that Psyduck is holding his hands, but the graphics look great. Our centering looks really good. I don't see issues there. And our edges and our corners are nice and crisp. Moving to the back, you can see that the graphics look nice. Our centering looks pretty good from top to bottom and side to side. And finally, looking at our edges and our corners, I think we do have some slight damage on the two lower corners. And that's going to give us a mint 9 for Mr. Psyduck. I like Psyduck, always have. You're looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Shellder, a first edition number 54 card. Shellder here's graphics are really clean. Our centering is within tolerance, and our edges on our corners have no damage. Looking at the back, you can see that the centering looks really good, and our surface graphics are nice and clean with no damage or staining. Looking at our corners and our edges, they're really clean too. I think this is going to be a really good card. And with all that, that's going to give us a grade of Gem Mint 10. Awesome. I love it. Great, great card. Woo! Let's review a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Slowpoke, a first edition number 55 card. Looking at Slowpoke here, the graphics are very clean. I don't see any damage. Our centering looks really good from top to bottom and side to side. Our corners and edges have no damage that I can tell. As we flip the card over, you can see that the surface graphics are really clean. I don't see any damage there. Our centering looks pretty darn good for most backs. But as we get to our edges and our corners, the upper right corner and lower right corner have some damage. And that's going to give us a good grade of mint 9. I like that a lot. We are looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Tentacool, a first edition number 56 card. The front surface graphics of this card are really clean. There's no staining or damage. Our centering looks pretty good from side to side and possibly from top to bottom. Our edges and corners, I see no damage there at all to report. As we flip over to the back, you can see that the surface graphics are nice and clean, no damage or imperfections. Our centering looks really good from my point of view. And finally, as I return to the edges and corners, the two right corners and the lower left corner have some slight damage. And as we turn it back over and look at our grade, we're going to get a grade of mint 9. That's pretty good for an old Tentacool. I like it. As we start looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Zubat, a first edition number 57 card. The front surface graphics have no damage, staining, or creases. Our corners and our edges look really clean. Our centering from side to side and top to bottom, I don't think matters in the grade. Looking at the back, you can see that the centering looks pretty good, and so does the graphics on the surface. Turning to our edges and our corners, we do have some slight damage to the upper right and the 2 lower corners. And we're going to get a grade of mint 9. I like it. Like my 9s. Let us take a look at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Mr. Fuji, a first edition number 58 card, a trainer card. Mr. Fuji's front surface has no scratches or stains. Our creases, our centering looks pretty good, maybe slightly to the right. And our edges and the corners, I have no problems there. Turning to the back, you can see that the surface graphics are superb. Our centering looks really close, probably in tolerance. And finally, looking at our corners and edges, I have to look close, but there's some slight damage to the lower right. And that's going to give us a grade of mint 9. It was either that little corner damage on the lower right on the back or the off centering on the front that took us to a 9. Let us review a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Energy Surge, a first edition number 59 card. This is a great trainer card. Everything looks good on the front. Our centering looks good. Our edges and corners look good, and there's no stains or damage to the surface. As we move to the back, you can see that the surface graphics are beautiful. Our centering looks really good. Our corners and our edges, though, unfortunately, we have a little bit of slight damage on both right corners. And that's going to give us a grade for this energy search of mint 9. Not too bad with that corner damage. We are looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Gambler, a first edition number 60 card. Looking at this card, you can see that the graphics are really crisp and clean. You can see those dice really well. Our centering looks really good from side to side and top to bottom. And our corners or edges have no reportable damage at all. As we turn it over to the back, you can see that the surface graphics are nice and clean. Our centering looks really good, especially from top to bottom and side to side. And finally, looking at our edges, they look really clean. In our corners, unfortunately, we have some slight damage on the upper right. And that's going to give us a grade of mint 9. Awesome. I like a lot of those 9s. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and watched me reveal the grades that I got and explain them. If you want to, you can subscribe and like, but always remember, you got to catch them all.